And so, Raider Nation, what's going on? I'm here with Raiders UDFA kicker Dominik Eberle from Utah State, the GOAT in terms of kickers out of the Mountain West, as far as I'm concerned. What's up, brother? Thanks for joining.
No, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. We're gonna have some fun questions. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. I know how Germany is. I used to live there, so you guys are big into beer drinking. I like to drink some beer too, but I'm not gonna make you do anything crazy like that today. So tell me a little about yourself. I mean, coming from Germany, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Now to that translate to now playing in the NFL.
Yeah, it was a crazy story. I mean, I never played football growing up. I barely even knew what the sport was. And, I couldn't really name any teams until I came over to the States. And, parents moved. I moved with them. I always played soccer. And then transition kind of came like right about high school. My friend kind of suggested, hey, you should start kicking. Like that would be a pretty good thing to do. You make some new friends in high school and everything. So I started freshman year and just fell in love with it.
That's awesome. I mean, I remember I played baseball in Cologne for the Cologne Cardinals, and it was a lot different, right? Bundesliga baseball we had players that got paid in beer. Luckily for you with the Raiders, I hope that's not how you get paid. I hope you get paid some good money, and hopefully maybe down the road you'd be like, man, I remember that Mitch guy. He's the crazy guy that wore like some For Chucky head shirt and maybe invite me to a game. That's what it's all about. But I also want to invite you to personally come on the Raiders Report show, where it'll be like a Zoom conversation where we'll let a lot of our viewers come on. So if you like this, you think I'm a halfway decent guy, I can promise you one thing, though. You're not going to find a better fan group than Raider Nation. They will show you that they love you. And, I've been to some crazy soccer games in Cologne where FC Cologne, their fans were a little bit nuts. And I promise you, like, Nation is going to show out for you. So I love the intro, but you did fail to mention that you scored 359 points at Utah State. That is a record. You also failed to mention that you were averaging 8.39 points per game, which is absolutely insane. And you made 64 field goals, and this might be my favorite stat, 167 of 167 in extra points. So bottom line, if you come to the Raiders, you're never going to miss an extra point. That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's all you got to do.
That's the goal? Okay, so then how about this? The first time you kick an extra point, I want you running off the field just screaming goal, and I just want it to, carry for, 10 seconds like you'd see in a soccer game. That's all I want.
Yeah, that'd be a little extreme. I'm sure that would be like a fine of some sort or something.
Right.
That's pretty funny. Just let the soccer emotions take over everything.
Yeah, man, that's cool. That's cool. So the way that we're going to do this is I got 10 questions that I got ready for Dominik, guys, and then basically after those questions come in, I want you then to just ask him whatever. So you guys can already start putting some of your questions down there below. You know how the whole thing works. You can ask him about current players. You can ask him about him. You can ask him, well, almost anything. We'll try to keep it a little bit PG here. Okay, so did you grow up watching American football? And if not, who was the first team that you actually watched?
So I never watched anything. I mean, like I said, I went over to States, never watched a game, and then once middle school kind of was there, so I started following a little bit. I started watching a bit more. I think the first ever game was the Patriots against the Texans that I watched. And one of my friends, he was actually from Baltimore, so he was a huge Ravens fan. So he kind of took me under his wing, told me here are the rules, here's what to learn. And then I started learning more about defensive coverages. I always liked watching the defense. And then from there on out, I was always watching Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, those kind of guys where it's oh wow, this sport is amazing. I just wanted to keep learning more.
That's awesome, man. My cousin, she just asked me, I don't know if you saw in the chat, you can see some of the questions coming in. She just asked, do you have a girlfriend?
I do have a girlfriend, yep.
Oh, sorry, Em. You're going to have to miss out on that one. Okay, so what current Raiders player are you what current Raiders player are you just most excited to work with, kind of get in there maybe in the workout room, or just maybe just see what they're doing to be successful? When I think of a player, I obviously think of Max Crosby, right? A guy who drafted in round 4, who really kind of made himself and now is a big name player in the NFL. Or even a Jordan Devey, who now is 32, re-signed with the team, and he was a UDFA.
Yeah, I'm excited to be part of the team. There wouldn't be a single guy that I'm most excited to work with, because you can learn so much from everybody. Yep. And, especially as a kicker, I already know Daniel. We were at the Lou Groza a few years back. So, I always wanted to wish him really well. And now that we're going to be teammates, it's going to be good to, talk to him more, see his progression, and just, trying to pick up little things that work well for him and maybe works well for me.
That's awesome. We do have some breaking news, not around the Raiders, but Andy Dalton, he's going to Dallas. So I live in Dallas, so he's going to be a Cowboy, but I ain't talking about the Cowboys on the Raiders report. So, okay. So this one is we're going to have a little bit of fun. What's your best college memory? And if you can't remember it, I guess that was a pretty good one.
No, I think winning the bowl game my junior year was just overall the best memory. I mean, it was
is that the
from
one where you're like coming off the field, arms out? Like I've seen all these pictures.
no, that was the game winner against Fresno this year.
Okay.
But the bowl game overall as a team, I mean, we came in, we started to regress a little bit. Like we had a 3-9 season my redshirt freshman year. So we took that chip on our shoulders and just wanted to win something. And then 2018, it finally happened when most of us are upperclassmen, and that was just kind of the beauty of it. You see all of us mature and grow throughout that process.
Man, that's awesome. When I played baseball, I graduated with 23 seniors, and they're some of my best friends. So I can appreciate people who stay in college who really like make good friendships, because I don't know about you, those are like some of my best friends. But yeah, that's awesome. Game winning kicks, and that's pretty dope. Okay, have you ever heard of a guy named Sebastian Janikowski?
Yep, I mean he's a legend. He's a legend.
So obviously, you're going to be a kicker. You got some big shoes to fill. And Seabass, do you think you could out-chug Seabass in a beer drinking competition?
I mean, he's Polish, so that's probably impossible at that point.
What's your beer choice if you had to pick? Are you a fan of German beer? You like craft beer, or maybe you don't drink at all?
No, I would say German beer is probably something that I just enjoy. I mean, I try so many different things, but if I had to pick a general kind, it would probably be like Hefeweizen or something like that.
Hefeweizen. That's what's up. That was probably my favorite. I also like certain Kolsch beers. I mean, I think that they kind of are a little bit boring, more of a Pilsner style. There was one called Sonnenhopfen, which was a really good beer that I liked when I lived over there in Germany. But I don't know. If you ever go back to Nuremberg, right?
Yep.
Nuremberg. Somebody just put in the comments Das Boot. Have you ever done that? Do you know
No.
Do you know what Das Boot is?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's from the movie Beer Fest.
Oh yeah. That's my first like how I thought people from Germany were okay, like they just start drinking at like 12 years old, which maybe is not totally false, but they just like to drink some beer and have a good time. So okay, we'll get back to a more serious question. Who do you model like your game after? I mean, being a kicker from Germany, I mean, who do you really look at your game film from? I don't know if you know this, but maybe I'll say 4 or 5 months ago, I tweeted about Sam Ficken, because obviously that last name is pretty funny in German, but a lot doesn't really resonate very well over here in America. But do you really like focus your game around a certain kicker, or you just try to be Dominik?
I mean, everybody's individually something that they do that nobody really can replicate.
Yep.
But you definitely do watch film. So, like a lot of comparisons that I get are, for example, with Robbie Gould. He's a very smooth, very accurate kicker, and that's what I see myself after too. So, most of the times people will tell me, hey, you kick like Robbie Gould. And I'm like, we're similar. He's a very, very good kicker, but there's some differences that I have that he doesn't have.
So I think Robbie Gould is a player that I liked. I'm from central Pennsylvania, so I watched a lot of Penn State. So I watched a lot of, Sam Ficken. I watched a lot of Robbie Gould. So I like that one. So you saying your best part of your game, what do you think? How about we'll go with this? I'm going to go off the cuff here. What do you think is the best part of your kicking game, and where do you think is an aspect that you honestly need to work on?
I mean, my best part is my consistency. No matter what day it is, I'm going to give it 100%. I'm going to be, perfectly fit for that game, where I will do everything to be at my peak performance when I need to be. So that's kind of what I've done over the last few years in order to allow me to just continue being successful in games.
I mean, I believe I saw it was 87.5% field goal percentage. So that's tough to do. And again, I don't know what it's like to kick out in the Mountain West, but I would imagine some of those games, the weather can get a little bit crazy. Luckily, Vegas, you're going to have a roof over your head. So you should be okay there. Who's the greatest German football player ever?
I would say probably Sebastian Vollmer. He was with the Patriots for a bit. He was that big football star that we knew over in Germany, where he won, I think, 2 Super Bowls, maybe 3. But it was more recent. That's part of like when NFL Europe was a thing. He grew up watching that and started playing it and everything, and now he's one of the greats over there.
I know. I think of I'm trying to think. Moritz Boringer. It was kind of like when I know I didn't
Yep.
pronounce his last name right. If you want to pronounce it right, you're more than welcome to. But when I like first moved back over here, like he was the player that was kind of getting spotted, getting looked at, and I used to go watch the football team in Cologne was called the Alligators, and watching American football in Germany was actually really kind of how I started to get back into my groove. And actually, when I lived in Germany is when I created the fantasy football podcast. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be doing what I do now. So, but Germany is a beautiful place, and I hope to definitely be visiting it soon. So I'm like honestly curious, right? I mean, Mike Mayock, John Gruden especially. I mean, John Gruden is the reason why I do Chucky Heads, right? Because he's got the nickname Chucky. So if I say something's for Chucky Heads, I think it's 100% going to happen. So I love me some John Gruden. But I want to know, what was the conversation like when the Raiders called you up and said, hey, man, we want you to be a part of this team?
I was stoked. I was thankful for the opportunity, stoked, and ever since then I've just been ready to get to work.
Who called you?
It was the special teams coordinator.
Versace?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Rich, I like what he's been doing on special teams. I know we went out and got Jeff Heath. I think he's going to play a little bit of some multiple roles there, but that's cool. Okay. And I got to ask you this one. This will be the last question that I'll ask, and then I'm going to open it up to everyone who's watching now so you guys can start getting your questions flowing in here, and then I'm going to start asking Dominik. You ready? Will you be the
Yep.
Raiders kicker week 1?
That's the goal. I just got to focus on, doing myself, making my kicks, and then in the end, that decision will be made.
Okay, that's a good answer. Appreciate you, Dominik. All right, guys, let's open up some of these questions here. I think I can click the question thing down below. If you guys want to get them in, we'll start throwing them away. I saw somebody ask before, do you like UFC?
Yeah, no, I love watching UFC.
Okay.
That's going to be fun, having the opportunity in Vegas to maybe go to a fight one time, like after the season's over and living there. Like that would be stoked to do.
Okay. I got a personal question. So there was a word in German that I used to always just find very, very fascinating, right? The word was geil. So the first time I went out, I was told that geil meant, probably what it means as well. Does it also mean awesome? Because I've heard in slang terms, it can mean awesome and it can mean horny.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Like,
Based on
'cause some people
context.
yeah, it's like some people would say it's like saying sick, for example. Like,
Okay.
oh, that's sick or that's rad. And other people would say it as like, okay, like that person's getting on to me, I think.
I remember I was at dinner table with my girlfriend at the time, and we're having dinner. And I was just like, "Man, das Cake ist geil," and people were like, "Okay, like that makes sense." And then I was like, "Okay, I think I'm pretty awesome. Ich bin geil." Got some different looks on that one, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realized real quick I can't say that kind of stuff. But okay. So I see one coming in from Zed_Zulu. Who is your favorite kicker of all time?
Of all time, I mean, I love watching Justin Tucker.
Okay.
He's currently probably one of the top guys, but I would say all time, he's still doing it, so which is crazy. But Adam Vinatieri, I mean, the guy has a clutch factor and has done it for 20 plus years, where it's just incredible what he's been doing.
I think one of my favorite quotes from Vinatieri is when this past season, basically when Andrew Luck was like, "Hey, I'm going to retire," Adam Vinatieri literally was like, "Oh wait, you can retire from this thing?" But I mean, he's been kicking field goals as long as I've been alive. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Yeah, so he's probably actually been kicking as long as you. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you. I'm 27, but yeah, we've had some good people to watch. Okay, how about you think you'd be able to hit a 65-yard field goal in Denver?
Yeah, no, I mean Denver, the elevation's nice. We had a game at Air Force this year, which is higher than Denver,
Okay.
and in warm-ups I was able to hit a 70.
So you were telling me
So,
right now, Dom, you were hitting 70-yard field goals. So Denver, you're hitting a 70-yarder. I can rely on that.
I mean, if everything's right, if you got a little breeze behind you, the elevation, I mean, it's nothing different than Utah State, to be honest.
Okay, that's what's up. I like it. So this one's coming in from Chris_Mats. He said, if you were the last man back on special teams, would you go for the hit or would you go for the legs? Big
I
hit
would
or
just try
leg?
and make the tackle. I mean,
Okay.
get our defense on the field, have them play.
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing from MMM365 Pops, which is actually my dad. Where is your money spot? So, like, do you like to be on the left? Do you like to be in this middle? Do you like to be on the right hash? Like, where are you like, hey, man, we got to kneel the football here. This is where I want to drain it from.
So I never had a preference. I mean, some people play around with it so much, but we started looking into statistics last year, just with practice and everything, and the coaches found that, the NFL left hash, like the equivalent to that was my highest percentage throughout training camp, throughout everything, where they said, okay, like if we know we got a game-winning kick, that's where we're going to put it.
So this one's coming in from Max underscore KR period 04. So I want you to translate it. I'm going to try to read it. Grüßes aus Deutschland. Du bist beim richtigen Team. Did
Yeah.
I get that right?
So no, that was pretty good. But
What
yeah,
does it
he was
mean?
saying, greetings from Germany. You're on the right team, and I fully agree. I'm ready to be a Raider.
So I took 20 hours a week of Deutsch. I think I got up to like B2 for Volkshochschule. I really wanted to like integrate myself because you guys, Germans, you learn English so young and right when, everyone speaks English. So I felt bad. So I tried to learn German, but man, it is a very difficult language to learn. I'll admit that. So, okay, what are your expectations from this moment here and then just going forward? Like, what do you fully expect? And then that one is from Jack underscore DeCarce.
Yeah, I mean, I expect us to be great. I know I have faith in everyone in this organization, and we're all focusing on the same goal, which is winning another Super Bowl.
So this one's coming in from one of my most loyal watchers on Chat Sports and the Raiders show. His name's Jacob. He says, who are you looking forward to just playing with? Like, is there a certain guy on the team where you're like, man, I can't wait to get in there with him?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great guys, like I said before, but it's going to be really interesting to seeing Ruggs. I mean, you see his college tape, and it's just ridiculous. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how he does because he's an exciting player, and I'm ready to be teammates with him.
Who would win in a race? 100-yard dash. If you started at the 30-yard line and he started at the one end zone, are you beating him?
No, I don't think so. He's got a different kind of speed. I mean, maybe if I was at the 50, but
Maybe at the 50? What's your 40 time? You got a 40 time for me?
yeah, it was probably going to be around like 4.7.
I mean, that's
Like
that's moving. That's good.
it's it's solid, but he probably would be able to run like a 4.2 easily.
Oh yeah, he ran a 4.27, so that's top five of the combine. But I mean 4.7, that's still moving. Maybe we'll have to put you out there at free safety or linebacker or something. We'll see what happens. All right, this one's from Grant Frank. What city do you look forward to playing in the most?
Um, I would say probably in LA. I mean, that brand new stadium is going to be cool to see, but Vegas, that's going to be the big thing. The Legion Stadium already looks amazing, and I can't wait to get in there.
Yeah, yeah. So this one's from Miss Madrid. Miss Madrid is another one of our loyal watchers. She asked, I don't know if you can see it, can you bring on some more cute people on your show? So, I mean, Miss, if you want to come on, you just let me know. But Dominic already has a girlfriend. So if the girlfriend wants to come on the Raiders Report, though, and if she wants to give me some actual dirt on you, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Do you think you could have made it as a soccer player in Germany or in the U.S.?
Yeah. I mean, the U.S. developmental system is different than in Germany, where once I went over here and saw how it was, it's kind of where you got to pay to play.
Okay.
Where if you want to play at the highest level, you got to pay thousands of dollars for traveling and everything like that every year.
Yep.
Whereas in Germany, you get brought into an academy, you get scouted, you get the opposite. You get pretty much pushed to become better.
Okay.
So if I stayed in Germany, I have zero doubt that with my work ethic and my mental strength that I would have made it. But once I came over here, I kind of saw how different it was and how football was working. So I decided to go for football.
Who's crazier, Raider fans or soccer fans in Germany?
That's tough. I mean, you only see it how crazy Raider fans can get, which is awesome. I mean, I love it. I love the emotion and everything. So I'm just excited to see him. Like,
Okay.
you know, fans in Germany are crazy, but you know, every organization has their awesome fans.
Well, wait until we play in, LA this year against the Chargers, and you're going to be like, wait a minute, isn't this the Chargers home game? And it's just going to be all black. It's insane. I mean, I remember watching the game last year, and I think it was like 90% Raider fans at a home game and for the Chargers. So you're going to see a team that's going to travel, a team that's going to have your back. But it's also, I think Raider Nation is a lot like a family where, if you slip up, whether, maybe off the field doing something that you shouldn't be doing or, you have a bad game or something like that, it's going to be a team that, don't get me wrong, they're going to come at you a little bit. But I think, as a competitor, as a man, you're like, okay, I can appreciate that because as soon as you start succeeding, there's not going to be a better fan base that's going to have your back. And I can guarantee you that. So I see this one from KJ, Huchin 3. How's your onside kicking game?
Pretty good. I mean, we didn't have too many onside kicks in my career. I know we had 2, but I was 1 for 2.
Okay.
So, just trying to do my job, which I guess it's a good thing that we're not onside kicking a lot.
Yeah, no, I get you. So I like this question a lot from iDiego10. Have you been in touch with Mariner since you guys both played at Utah State, and he's going to now, be also a UDFA with you?
No, I haven't gotten in touch with him yet, but I'm stoked. I know how good he is and how awesome of a guy he is. So I'm just stoked that someone from, my team is going to be there with me alongside. We already have Dallin Levitt, who's a great guy. And yeah, I'm just stoked to be teammates again with those guys.
I'm trying to think of what his numbers were. I put him on the show. I think it was like 897 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's kind of what he was putting up. But interested to see what both you guys come in. I mean, I think, in terms of anything that you do, coming in with somebody that I think it is going to help the transition a little bit. Obviously, kicker, there's only one kicker for the most part. I think it's going to be a competition between you and Daniel. For him, though, I mean, we added a lot of other talent, so I think if you come in, you work your butt off. If there's one player who I know the nation really took behind last year, it was Keelan Doss. And, obviously being on Hard Knocks, I had the opportunity to be on Hard Knocks. And if there was one thing that I learned were, you're going to get to know these players. You're going to get to know their backgrounds. And if you go in and you work hard, I mean, not to be cheesy, but I do truly believe that anything is possible. So this one's from Del Rosso 570. So like I said, I'm from central Pennsylvania. Del Rosso is like 10 minutes from me. He just wants to know, what was it like growing up in Germany?
It was, awesome. I mean, you're in a small community. I grew up in a town with less than 1,000 people. So
Okay.
you truly know everybody there. You experience the same things. It's just a very tight-knit community. And you have all the different languages, the different dialects, even in Germany. And just, experience how close everyone can be and supportive. That was probably like the best thing that I learned from being over there.
No, I lived in a really small community as well. I grew up in a hometown of like 5,000-6,000 people. The one thing I will say that I miss about Germany the most was Brötchen. I've never seen people eat bread as much as I've seen in Germany. I miss waking up and having Marmelade, I think is what it would be called. We had a lot of Nutella. We had these like chocolate sprinkles that you would just put on bread, and it was like every meal was bread. Also, schnitzel was the bomb. And I also used to always laugh that beer was cheaper than water when we'd go out and, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to pay $7 to drink water, or I'm going to pay €2 to, have like 2 beers. So I always thought that was funny. I saw a question coming in here. So what was it like playing with Jordan Love? And do you think that the Raiders should have drafted him? That one's from, oh man, I just lost his name. Del Rosso kind of asked it, and then Jacob. So what was it like playing with Jordan Love? Do you think the Raiders should have drafted him?
I mean, I think he's a great quarterback. I mean, just being around a guy that's going to go in there every day, learn, get better, continue to grow, and just lead a team. I mean, he's a great guy, and I wish him nothing but success. But, wherever he was going to end up, I was going to be beyond stoked for him. So I'm just happy to see him, get his chance when the time comes, and excited to see him thrive on it.
Because I just put out a video from Mel Kiper. He thought that the Raiders should have gone out, drafted Love. And obviously when you talk about Love, he had an amazing 2018 season. It was like 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions or something like that. He just really thrived. And then, last season he did take a little bit of a step back, 20 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. But, you got to – I'm always curious because obviously you're going to get asked a lot about Derek, and I have a lot of confidence in Carr. You're going to find out that he's a great leader. He's a great man. He's going to lead, this team. But obviously when you're the Raiders, you're going to talk a lot about quarterbacks. So I was just curious to see what you had there. Okay, so somebody said, can't wait to see you compete for the kicker spot. Somebody said hello from Germany. That one's from Maurice Richards. Do you have any advice for young kickers? This one's Keaton_P14.
Yeah, I mean, it's always working on your craft. I mean, you got to be smart. You can't go out and kick 150 balls every time you want to go kick.
Okay.
You got to be smart, and sometimes it's more qualitative reps where you're taking maybe only 15 or 20 kicks, but you're focusing on doing what you want to do there. And it's just learning. I mean, as a young kicker, you gotta study film. You gotta see who's similar to you, what you can learn from them, and keep going off of that. I mean, there's so much that goes into becoming better and better at a skill where it's just the same thing over and over.
Yep.
But you got to really focus in on, okay, what am I going to get better at today?
I like that. I think I've said it multiple times in my family we love sports. We've had a fantasy football league now for probably going on about 14 years. And we used to always say, I think the hardest thing to do in all of sports is to be a kicker because it's the position that everyone is like, I would have made that kick, Dominik. Why didn't you make that kick, right? But also all the pressure's on you. It's not too often where, there's only that one thing going on in just about any sport. So I do respect kickers. I think it's a very difficult thing. And, hopefully you're kicking bombs, 70-yarders in Denver for us. So I see this one. I really, really like this question. I'm going to ask you maybe two more, and then I'm going to sound off, and I'm going to bring in Madre. So let's see here. This one's from Jack. Dream scenario for kicking a game-winning field goal.
Doesn't matter. I mean, wherever the ball's going to be, the ball's going to be. But the dream scenario is just you got a perfect snap and a perfect hold, and then you just make the kick. That's all you really can do.
Okay, so not 3 seconds left. It's Super Bowl 50, 55, 54. I don't even know where we're at this point in the season, Dominik. But just anytime you're just like, hey, man, I just want to drill it. That's it.
Exactly. Doesn't matter in the first quarter or, no timeout, no timeouts, last second or anything. It's just, I got to go out there and make one kick at a time.
All right, I got 2 more questions for you, and then I'm going to let you out of here. So do you get rattled when coaches call timeouts, kind of like icing the kicker?
No. I mean, I don't pay attention to that. That's something, you've gone through so much mental training and everything where even if it takes another 30 seconds for you to go kick, it's the same scenario.
Okay. If we run a fake field goal, okay, we're running the fake field goal, are you going to be able to hit the receiver with a pass?
Yeah, I'm confident in my throwing abilities. Not enough to be a quarterback, but I can throw the ball pretty well.
Yeah, how many yards do you throw it? So Derek Carr on his knees or Dominik on his legs? Who's throwing it farther?
I think he throws it farther still, but I could probably throw the ball consistently between 40 or 50 yards.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, Dominik, I'm going to let you go here. I just want to say, thank you. I wish you the best of luck. And, I want to say again, if you want to come on the Raiders Report, we're going to do we do a live show every Tuesday. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So it's kind of like this, only it looks a little bit more professional where the questions will come up on screen and we'll have a good time. But if you're interested in that, just hit me up. We'll do this again. But I wish you the best of luck. And if you want to tell people maybe where they can find you on IG, Twitter, or what the nation can expect from you, and then I'll let you go.
Sweet. No, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be a Raider. I'm excited to compete and ready to keep going.
That's right. Maurice said, just go out and kick for us. And like I said, you're going to find a team that's going to have your back. And no matter what, if you go out and put in the work, I mean, I'm telling you, you're going to find a Raider Nation is family. And I truly, truly mean that.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm beyond stoked to be a Raider.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. I'm going to let you go, and then we're going to get ready for Madre to come in. So, Dominik, again, thanks, man.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.